He is the new head coach at Ohio State of their illustrious football program. He is none other than Ryan Day here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Coach?
Great, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing better for talking to you. I'm not joking. I'm serious. I wanted to meet you and see. Well, I already saw what's in store, potentially.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, no, we're excited to get going. We got a practice today and a mock game tomorrow, and then we kick it off in 9 days. So we're fired up over here.
Well, obviously, you did have some time last year while Urban Meyer was on suspension to get into, I guess, a game day flow. What are you, if you can, work on anything to get ready for the long-term first season crucible that you have in front of you, Coach?
Yeah, last year was really day to day. When I say that, I really mean it. It was day to day. There was so much going on there, and then this year's been more of an opportunity to really plan ahead and forecast, the preseason, and then as we get into the first game. So, that's been really good. And there's a lot of things you're ready for, you're prepared for, and I've been preparing my whole life for this opportunity. But as I also know, there's going to be things that come up along the way that we don't foresee, and so we have to be able to adjust along the way. And I think we've built a really good chemistry with the staff and with the players. During preseason camp, one of the mantras has been toughness. We really have to be tough. I think if we are tough and we love each other, then we're going to have a great year. And so it's still a journey. It's not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination, but we're off to a good start here.
What have you changed from what Urban Meyer had put in there? I mean, just in terms of your stamp, what is the Ryan Day stamp that wasn't there before?
Yeah, it's a question I get a lot, and people try to compare, they say, well, what are you doing different, or how are you different, or different than Urban Meyer? And, the thing I always say, first off, is you don't replace a legend, and not trying to do that. Trying to figure out what are the things that were built in the program over the last 7 years that have been something, first off, that I believe in, that we'd like to enhance, and then some other things that you'd like to tweak along the way. And anytime you change something within an organization, it takes energy, it takes time. And so, there's little things here and there that we're changing, but for the most part, we've kept the infrastructure of the program in place. Now, there's a change on defense, so that's a whole new staff really there with new schematics on that side. We have a new quarterback here, so the personnel is really different. But at the same time, the core values and the philosophies have stayed the same.
Ryan Day, coach of Ohio State football, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about your quarterback, Justin Fields. Why did you go and for lack of a better phrase, get Justin Fields? Why when he transferred out of Georgia, did you open your arms and welcome him when you had somebody like Tate Martell in the mix, Ryan?
Yeah, it was a very unique situation, and I think now more than ever, the quarterback position is a very sensitive situation, and so especially in a place like Ohio State, and we were coming off the heels of one of the best passing performances in the history of the Big Ten, and Dwayne, up and leaves for the NFL as a sophomore, which is unheard of. We weren't even sure if he could take a snap going into the last game, first game last year, and then he throws 50 touchdowns, and so. By him leaving, that kind of upset the apple cart a little bit. We plan ahead in recruiting. There's a lot that goes into that. And so once he decided to declare, Justin Fields, was available on the market. And, we recruited him coming out of high school and really thought very highly of him. And then when he, showed interest in us, thought it was a slam dunk that way. And then, along with that, there was a lot of movement within our room. We lost Tate and we lost Matt, and it's hard because guys want to play, and sometimes they forecast ahead, and sometimes accurately, sometimes inaccurately, what they think is going to happen. And Justin came in, did a great job, worked hard, and he's earned the starting job here this preseason.
So, and obviously you know quarterbacks very well. You were one for Chip Kelly, who hired you twice as being a quarterback coach in the pros when he was in Philly, and then you went with him to San Francisco. Why do you like Justin Fields so much, Ryan?
Well, his skill set is off the charts. First off, he's big. He's 6'3". He's right around 230. He's got real speed. He's, been clocked under a 4.4. He's got a very strong arm. He's intelligent, good leadership. Now, he hasn't played a lot of football. So, Dwayne had the opportunity to be in the system here, working on his third year last year where Justin just showed up in January. So he doesn't have the benefit of being in the program for a while. So there's going to be mistakes made, but I think his ceiling is very, very high.
Did you say you didn't think Dwayne Haskins would be taking a snap before week 1 last year? Did I hear that accurately in my earpiece, Coach?
I said we weren't sure if he could take a snap.
Was it because of injury or something like that?
No, just because he had never done it.
Well, I kind of remember one time feeling kind of confident in a game in the Big House where J.T. Barrett got hurt, and I thought, well, here comes this kid, no big deal. And he was a big deal. I kind of remember that.
Yeah, no, and he stepped up in a big way, and really, that was one of the big reasons why we gave Dwayne the nudge, or the nod over Joe Burrow, because that spring we had to decide who we thought was going to be the starter in our future, and that was a very hard decision because Joe Burrow is an excellent quarterback, a lot of leadership had been in the program, he had broke his hand that year. And then they competed like crazy during that spring, and we gave Dwayne the slight advantage going into preseason, and then Joe decided to go to LSU, and Dwayne really hadn't done a lot going into that year. I mean, the week before he did that in the Big House, he came out against Illinois in the rain and fumbled on like the second play, returned for a touchdown. And so we just weren't sure. But then, obviously, as we got going during the season, we realized that he was more than ready to go.
Well, I'll tell you, I think Washington's got itself a winner. That's for darn sure. I really like what I'm seeing in the preseason. Obviously, it's preseason, and obviously he's going to make some mistakes, but he's dropped some serious dimes. And I know I have spoken to Coach Meyer in terms of rating Haskins throwing the ball. He put him at the very top of anybody he's ever seen. Ryan, he's off
the charts in terms of that. I was lucky enough to be around Matt Ryan when he was that age, and Sam Bradford and some of those guys in the NFL. He's ahead of them just in terms of raw talent, but he just hasn't played a lot of games, and so every time he steps on the field, you're going to see him improve. I think you saw that in the preseason. He just has an innate accuracy. He has a great vision, and he's big enough to see downfield, and he's really worked on his body too. Did a great job when he was here, and he's become athletic enough to get himself out of trouble. So I'm with you. I think the Redskins got a gem there.
Few more minutes left with Ryan Day, Ohio State football head coach here on the Rich Eisen show. What in the world was it like being a quarterback at New Hampshire for Chip Kelly back then? Seriously, walk me through what that was like.
Sure. So it was like a laboratory every week. So the first year was my first year starting quarterback. That was his first year being a coordinator. And every week we changed the offense. So it would go from the veer to the wing tee to run and shoot to anything. And we just change it on a weekly basis. And I can't tell you as the quarterback I had a great GPA that semester because I spent most of my time in the office with Chip. But we had a lot of fun and we scored a lot of points. And then the next year is when we really bought into the no huddle, and that was kind of the beginning of the no huddle where we would just try to run as many plays as possible. That's all he cared about was, can we get 120 plays this game? And we got ourselves in shape and kind of got that going with the no huddle. And a few years later, he was out at Oregon. So pretty neat to be a part of.
And so he is obviously out there in UCLA right now. Now you're at Ohio State. It's amazing just how paths take place. How did you get hooked up with Ohio State, though? I mean, I'm looking at your history here and your lineage. How did you wind up in Columbus? Now that you're the head coach of the entire program after Urban Meyer leaves, Ryan.
Yeah. So it kind of went like this. When I was at Boston College, so Chip Kelly and I and Dan Mullen are all from the same hometown of Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay.
When I was at Boston College, we were going to play in the Fiesta Bowl against Utah. We didn't make it because we lost the last game to Syracuse, but I kind of called Dan Mullen and said, I'd love to get together and meet you and meet, because I didn't know him at the time, and meet Urban Meyer. Well, I think a week later he gets the job at Florida, and I get a call from Dan Mullen, do you want to be the graduate assistant at Florida? So my wife and I get in a U-Haul. We drive down to Florida, and for a year in 2005, I was on the staff with Urban and Dan. From then, I worked with Steve Adazio, who was on that staff at Boston College. Always stayed very close with Urban, just, staying in touch, phone calls, coming to visit. And then when I was out at the 49ers with Chip, I had an opportunity to come a couple years ago and moved to Columbus.
Do you think coaching's out of Urban Meyer? Do you think he's done? Do you think he's done, Coach
I don't
Day?
know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know he's happy. I know that his family's happy, and he's got a big smile on his face, and he comes around once a week, and so who knows? You don't know those things, but I know that he's very, very happy, and I know it's not in his plans right now, but you just never know.
But he is there once a week. He's around the program once a week right now?
Yeah. He'll stop by all the time, and he's always been a great reference, and he'll call and text, and I'll call him with questions, and he's been an unbelievable resource, and he and Shelley have been great for Nina and I.
All right, before I let you go, let's get to the elephant in the room right now, Coach Day. Okay, let's get right to it. Do you say the word Michigan? Can you say the word? Do you say it?
No.
Come on.
No, we're not allowed to do that around here, Rich.
Come on.
No, we can't do that.
So,
no.
Even if you take a trip there, you say, what do you say? Like, how do you refer to the state? Come on. I say the word Ohio all the time. It's easy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do it, but you still got to start doing push-ups. I mean, we'll just say the state up north. We'll say Ann Arbor. We'll say the blue team. Maybe even say the Wolverines, but we certainly can't say the M word. And if my kids say it, then they're really in trouble. I just start having to do laps around the house.
No, I have taught. Now, look, in full disclosure, I have taught my kids the two teams we dislike the most is Ohio State and whoever's playing Ohio State. I mean, full disclosure, I have taught them that. Okay,
that's good.
Okay,
that's good.
It's healthy. But so, do you not even use the letter M? Do you X it out? Do you do that too now?
There's no lie. My daughter came to practice yesterday, and she had her soccer shirt on, and it was blue. And the first thing she came over, she goes, "Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm wearing a blue shirt right now, but it was my soccer jersey. I didn't have anything else to wear." I said, "Honey, it's okay. We'll make sure next time you don't have a blue shirt on."
You know what? I'll just tell you this. It's unhealthy. I mean, I'm not talking about your parenting. I'm just talking about in general. I think it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. We're all people. We're all people on the planet, Ryan. I mean, we're all Big Teners in a way, I guess, even though I just said that I do root for anybody that does play you. I guess it's just full disclosure here is that we are all representing the Big Ten when it comes down to it, right?
Yeah. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I grew up in Boston where it was the Red Sox Yankees, and that's like a way of life, too. So I think I completely understand what it means, and I enjoy it.
Okay.
I think it's fun.
Have you connected with LeBron yet?
I haven't. I'd love to, but I have not.
I think that day's coming soon, Ryan. I mean, cool. That day will be that day will be kind. He knows the whole thing about not wearing blue and all of that business. Listen, good luck to you, sir. What an opportunity that you have right there in front of you, and I appreciate you calling. I hope this is not the last time. It's the first of many.
No, thank you, Rich. Much respect for you and the work you do, and look forward to being back on soon.
All right, you got it. That's Ryan Day, head coach of The Ohio State.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.